Hello and welcome to another episode of the Common Man's Take on Sports with Kevin and
Quentin.
Alright, so welcome to another show. We'll start the show off today by talking a little bit of WNBA news. So the Sun and the Connecticut Sun and the New York Liberty made it to the semifinal round and they'll play each other. And the Dallas Wings and Las Vegas Aces made it to the semifinal round and will play each other. And the winners of those two games will meet up in the WNBA finals. So we'll see how that goes. I know that Aja Wilson has been for the Las Vegas Aces has really been dominating the playoffs right now. So we'll kind of see how that goes. If she can lead the Aces to a WNBA championship. She dropped 38 points in a game the other night, so that's pretty impressive. What's your take on that, Quentin?
My take on that is that what Aja Wilson has done to Las Vegas is, she's been pretty good in the playoffs and in the regular season. I've checked some of the Las Vegas Aces scores. I checked some of their stats, and she's got some pretty good stats in those games that she played in the regular season. And that's gonna really be a threat to these teams in the playoffs, in the Western playoffs, and that's gonna really make. Right now, it's already made the Aces WNBA championship favorites. She's going to be a real problem, and I do think that she could lead the Aces to a WNBA championship game.
All right. I think it's definitely a real possibility. We'll try to catch some of those games here in the next couple of days. The Giants and the Niners play tonight. I'm pretty sure the Niners will win that game because I feel like the Giants are a little overrated. But we'll see. I know that the Giants are without Saquon Barkley right now. He's out, I believe 3 weeks is the max time they said he's going to miss because he has a ankle sprain. Said it's a normal ankle sprain though, not a high ankle sprain, so it should heal in about 3 weeks. I know the 49ers are without Brandon Ayuk, but they still have Kittles, McCaffrey, and Deebo Samuel and Brock Purdy in that devastating defense, so I'm pretty sure they'll be just fine. My prediction is the Niners will probably win. I'd say 28-10 is my guess for that game.
Come on, 10?
Yep. I think without Barkley, that really limits the Giants' offense. Not that it was great before, but that limits a lot of what they do. A lot of what they do is circled around Barkley. So we'll see what happens, but I just don't think they're going to find the offense against that Niners defense without a player like Barkley.
I think, for me right now, I think that the 49ers can win this against the Giants. The Giants, to me, I gotta agree with you. I think the Giants have been overrated. I think the Giants are overrated, and it's without Saquon Barkley. I feel like the run game won't stick out as much as they want it to, and so that's gonna affect the game. And now, I think that the 49ers can win this. Let's see, how about 24-13.
24-13. Okay, not bad. We'll see who's closer to that final score. Another bit of news I want to talk about is the Dallas Cowboys. So their best DB, I almost said defensive player, but their best defensive player's got to be Micah Parsons. It was Diggs for a while, but I think Parsons is definitely taking that spot from him. But the Cowboys did lose Trevon Diggs to a ACL tear in his left knee in practice today. Not sure when he's going to come back yet, but they said the MRI revealed a tear, so he's going to get that taken care of. But that is, for me, that is a huge loss to that defense because he is one of the better defensive backs in the league today. He has only allowed just 3 catches for 31 yards on 8 targets when he's the nearest defender in coverage for the 2 games this season. So that's pretty impressive. And he's only allowed a 9.9 passer ratings on throws in his direction. So that's pretty good. And if I'm not mistaken, he has 18 interceptions for his career up to this point. So that's a pretty tough loss for them. That's going to hurt that secondary. We'll see if they can replace him or at least get somebody who's decent in coverage to pick up that slack. But that's a pretty big loss for them.
Yeah, Trevon Diggs is a really good player with the Cowboys. Like Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs make arguably the best defensive duo in the league. But without Trevon Diggs, this isn't going to be good for the Cowboys. But they're lucky that they faced the Cardinals in Week 3. They're lucky that they faced the Cardinals, but they face like the Eagles or anyone else like that, they'd be done. But they gotta be lucky that they're facing the Cardinals in Week 3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'd stop them from getting in the playoffs or anything, but it's definitely a big loss for them because he was definitely the type of player that was all over the field. Usually wherever the ball was at, he was at, and he made big plays. And so that definitely, he was probably the second best player on that defense behind Micah Parsons. So that is definitely a big hit for them. We'll see what happens going forward, but that's unfortunate for them. We'll see how they replace him. I know Jordan Lewis came back last week, and he should be on a regular snap count this week against the Cardinals, so that helps them to get Jordan Lewis back to full strength. But man, I'm interested to see who they put out there to take up Diggs' spot, because that's some big shoes to fill right there. I know they signed Stephon Gilmore in the off season, so maybe they can rotate that a little bit so that it's not such a big hit on that defense. But I don't know. That's pretty significant. It's a pretty significant injury for them. So the other thing I'd like to talk about is we talked earlier about the Panthers. So the Panthers are not expecting Young to play this weekend. It looks like Andy Dalton will get the call to start against the Seahawks on Sunday because he missed his second straight practice today with that ankle injury. So more than likely he's not going to play this week because if you only miss one practice, it's fine, but you start missing multiple practices, that usually means you're not going to play. And so the Panthers released a statement today that said they expect to be without Bryce Young for the Seahawks game for this weekend. So for some of you bettors out there who like to bet on games, there's a little bit of info for you. Bryce Young will not be playing in that Panthers game. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is let's talk about the the Bears and what's going on with that franchise right now. So the defensive coordinator resigned yesterday for health reasons. Is what he cited. So I'm gonna say that the health is why he did. But for me, the other thing that stood out was Justin Fields did an interview, and so somebody asked him about why he kind of looks like a robot out on the field, and so Justin Fields kind of put it on the coaches. What he said was, "That's the way that the coaches coach me in practice, and so I play how we practice." And so here's my thing with that. To be really clear about this, if you want to be a star quarterback, or you want to be even a good quarterback, right? So you practice your plays. But when you see somebody like Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, so those guys practice a certain way too, right? But when they get in games, like, the quarterbacks have to make decisions. And the Justin Fields can't put his decisions on the coaches. Those decisions he makes in those games when the lights are brightest and those defensive players are coming after him are his decisions. If you go back and look at some of those plays, he was missing wide open receivers that he could have had wide open touchdowns or chunk yardage plays. Now, I'm not saying that coaching doesn't have something to do with it. I'm sure it does. But there's also a part where the quarterback has to be able to read a defense. And so ever since college, when he played at Ohio State, anytime they played a team that didn't play predominantly man defense, they played zones and switched it up. Justin Fields had struggled to read zones. He struggled to read defenses when they didn't just run man coverage all the time. He struggled to call out blocking for the offensive line, and I think that's followed him to the NFL. And I think he's still struggling to read a defense. So I don't think all of it is on the coaches. I think that some of that is on him because he doesn't know how to read a defense, and he is not getting into the film room to study some of that film. Just based off what I've seen, I've watched the first two Bears games, and it just looks to me like he's struggling to read a defense. What do you think, Quentin?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on this one. It does look like he's just struggling. When he was in college, he looked kind of like the same way, but now that he's in the NFL, he's gonna have some tougher defenses. And now he should like you said, he's got to read a defense. Because I did watch the Packers and Bears game. He did not look well against that Packers defense. He did not look well against that Buccaneers defense. And he needs to get better at reading these defenses, or else he's not going to have winning seasons with the Bears.
No. You have DJ Moore.
Yeah.
And so there were several times that I was watching the plays unfold on the field, and DJ Moore was open, and Justin Fields just missed him. And so, again, as the quarterback, you do have a little bit of leadway if you go through reads, you go through progressions, right?
Yeah, your quarterback.
So my thing is, when he's going through his progressions, he's either off on the timing or he's missing open receivers. And so, that's on the quarterback. That's not on the coaches. You got to build that rapport with your receivers. You got to learn. I'm going to tell you right now, if you ever go back and watch Drew Brees or Eli Manning or Tom Brady, they would anticipate sometimes. They would anticipate where the receiver's supposed to be, and they would throw the ball there. And everybody would be like, oh, wow, how'd they make that pass? Because that's hours and hours of practice with your receivers, not just during practice times, after practice. They stayed over, behind, with their receivers and had their receivers stay with them. And they practiced running those plays and those routes. So the quarterbacks knew where their receivers would be. The receivers knew where they had to be. And so the quarterbacks can anticipate throws. And did it work out all the time? No. But for a vast majority of the time, yes, it did. And that's what you have to do. And that's what Justin Fields needs to do. He needs to start putting in that time and effort with his receivers outside of practice, before and after. And then he needs to learn how to read defenses. He needs to get in that film room on his own and start looking at defenses and learn the different types of defenses look like, what they do when they run them. He needs to put in his own effort outside of the coaching also. Like all the good players, all the great players, they do that. They all put in that time. He needs to put that time in. You can't put everything on your coaches.
Yeah, I mean, right now he's the most important player right here on this offense, and the Bears have tried to assemble a team for you, Fields, and you can't. He's just not, and he can't really. He's just not. He can't really cooperate with those receivers because he needs to read defenses. If he can't read those defenses, he will not have a good career. He's got to make better plays because I mean he's like 2 or 3. He's entering his 3rd season in the NFL, and I've watched him enough. The Bears have watched him enough. The Bears have been waiting, and they finally got a quarterback, and they still can't be a good team. This is on Justin Fields right now.
I have to agree. The the play calling isn't great, but at what point as a quarterback you can check out of plays? You can check out of a play at the line of scrimmage when you walk up. You can, you go through your progressions. You don't have to throw that check down. You can make your own decisions with that football. Now, do the Bears call some silly plays sometimes? Yes, but
that doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, like when they call the plays behind the line, sure, that's not on Justin Fields. He has to throw those bubble screens. He has to throw those plays behind. But that doesn't account for all the rest of the plays that aren't called behind the line of scrimmage that he should have made good decisions with. And so even then, if they call that play behind the line of scrimmage, like that's when you check out of it. And if you check out of that play and pick up an audible based off what you read for that defense, that coach isn't going to get mad at you. He's going to congratulate you because you made him look good. So if Justin Fields really wants to be a good quarterback in this league, he needs to learn how to read the defense, to check out of plays, and do what the good quarterbacks do. So that's kind of my take on that. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Nothing else to add on that.
I haven't seen anything new on the Jonathan Taylor front. I know that he can't play until week 5, and I'm not sure if he's still trying to find a trade or not. I think that that relationship between, I think the owner soured that relationship between team and player, and I don't know if they'll be able to repair it, and that's unfortunate. But hey, Jonathan Taylor, if you leave after this year, hey boss, come on down to Carolina, play for your old coach. You liked Frank Reich, right? Come play for him again. Carolina will pay you. Come see the Panthers.
They pay running backs there. Like they paid McCaffrey. Right now they're paying Miles Sanders. So get rid of Miles Sanders and get Jonathan Taylor.
So I just seen an article. So it is verified now. Trevon Diggs is out for the season. So that's unfortunate for the Cowboys. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, very.
So I will say that although the Jets are still kicking some tires and some quarterbacks available, Carson Wentz is still out there in free agency. I'm pretty sure that he doesn't have a team yet. And I mean, what could you lose by getting him and giving him a shot? He can't be worse than Zach Wilson. I mean, Zach Wilson just isn't getting it.
Yeah, he just can't get it. He's just one of those quarterbacks that really just can't handle the NFL. They just can't get it.
Yeah, I don't know, but Zach Wilson just isn't the answer. They've already gone all in. Like I said before, they need to do something. I don't think that it would be they could get Carson Wentz cheap, and I don't think it would be a bad choice to try to give him a shot. I mean, what's the worst? He can't be worse than Zach Wilson. So, what's the worst could happen? He could be a little bit better. It'd be that serviceable quarterback that protects the ball and does just enough to get you to where you want to go, or at least to the playoffs. If I were the Jets, I would not leave any stone unturned trying to find a serviceable quarterback who's available right now, because that's what they're going to need.
Yeah, that's really the only option they have right now. They've tried every single option except this one to just find a new quarterback, but that's the only option they right now can do. They just got to find a new quarterback, try to lead the Jets franchise. Just got to find a new one.
Yep. That will do it for our show today. Don't forget, if you don't listen to podcasts, we do have our Facebook page under first name Kevin, second name Quentin. We have our YouTube channel, which is same name, Common Man's Take on Sports. And then you can find us on just about any platform for podcasts. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on iHeartRadio. You can find us on anywhere. Amazon Music. You can find us on Player FM, Samsung, Spotify, Podchaser, and Boomplay. So please subscribe. Please subscribe. Give us some likes. Give us a review for our show. Please tell your friends about us. Encourage people to take a listen to see if they like the show. We would appreciate that. But thank you for listening to our show. We hope you liked it. We hope you come back and listen to the next one. But that'll do it for today.